Hello, my name is Jesse Mecham with another episode of the Jesse Mecham Show, and I'm here each week to obsess out loud about, well, you getting good with money. That's what I obsess about. But what does it look like to be good with money? Most, when they're wanting to start their new year and set some financial resolutions, YouGov, is that what I have here? Top resolution among Americans was to save more money. There are a couple problems with that resolution. I don't want to get into the other side of it, where saving money is really a way of just saying you want to spend the money later, and we do this weird thing where we save money and then don't want to spend it, which is its sole purpose. But the other interesting thing about saving money is when you talk to people about how they want to actually fix their finances, like more one-on-one, they'll often mention debt. They'll want to get rid of their debt. And saving more money and paying down your debt both do the same thing to your net worth. Net worth is your assets, what you own, minus your liabilities, what you owe. And whether you have more money or have used that money to pay down what you owe, your net worth would be the same. Is it the same in your mind? I don't know. Everyone's wired a little differently. I can't stand being in debt, but others can tolerate it a little more in certain situations. But when it comes to the kind of debt most people are talking about paying down, high interest debt, consumer debt, there's not a good bit of that debt. Nothing's good about that debt. You can't be like, oh yeah, I got a student loan, it was modest, and I got my higher education and now I'm employed. It's not that. You can't say, oh, I got a house, it's a modest mortgage, now I've got a roof over my head, we own a home. It's not that. Consumer debt is the nasty kind. Buy now, pay later is the nastiest of the nasty kind. Anytime that you are going into debt for something that goes down in value, or the value literally just disappears the instant you swallow it, we have a problem. High interest debt, obviously you want to pay that down more than low interest debt, but the debt that creeps in on you over time, that's the stuff that most people are like, I got to get rid of that. The student loans, yes, they'll get there, but that high interest debt is a thorn in people's side. And instead of talking about saving more money, I want to talk about maybe getting rid of your need for that consumer debt. Like, why do we have to go there in the first place? Why do we have to reach for that credit card? And we talk about it at YNAB. If you haven't tried our software, it's ynab.com/Jesse. This will help you not only save more money, but pay down a load of debt. People do it all the time. We hear about it all the time. But they do it in a way that's unique. And they do a lot more debt prevention than they do debt pay down. What happens is your outflows and inflows are mismatched at the highest level. You earn money, and then you decide how to spend that money, and you spend it. And then something comes along, like I have this weird beep in my mechanical room of my house. It's a double beep. It happens every 30 seconds. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what is beeping in that room. It feels like everything's beeping. It goes all night long. I've turned on white noise. Still don't know about that beep. We'll get it figured out. Don't you worry. But that kind of thing, that little beep sounds like money going out the door. Or the car tires suddenly like going to thump, little weird rhythm, right? That sounds like money going out the door. Or the gears not shifting in your car. That sounds like money going out the door. Or the dog acting different all of a sudden. Or the toddler acting different all of a sudden. That all sounds like money going out the door. Or you hear like this little drip, drip. That is so much money going out the door. All of that, besides doing Afterpay for a burrito, which one would never do, all of that is what causes this debt, just a little bit of debt. Just, oh, we're going to put this on the card, we'll pay it back. We're going to put this on the card, we'll pay it back. So what happens is you have the pile of money, you spend the pile of money, and then the weird noise happens in the mechanical room, and you don't have the money. And this debt prevention plan is this. I say, in Why Now, our software, I would say, weird noise in the mechanical room, $100 a month. That's what I'm throw that out there, just whatever, $100 a month. and I just set it in there, $100 a month, $100 a month, $100 a month. So whether that weird noise is a drip that shouldn't be dripping, or a beep that shouldn't be beeping, or a grinding that shouldn't be grinding, all of it's going to be the same. It's going to cost me money. So this debt prevention plan is me looking ahead and anticipating those larger, less frequent expenses, those beeps, those drips, and saying, you know what, that's going to cost me $100 a month. And you might say, Jesse, I could take that $100 and I could pay off this high interest debt. And that is the tension that we're dealing with. Do you want to prevent future debt, or do you want to pay down your inability to prevent that debt in the past? That's for you to decide. But when you're giving every dollar a job, you're going to start to feel like you can do a little bit of both, and you're going to like the pace. You're going to say, I'm going to set aside for holiday spending. I'm going to set aside for a small vacation. I'm going to set aside to pay down this really high interest, annoying debt that just bothers me on a psychological level. And I'm going to set a little bit aside for car repairs, even though I don't have a mechanic bill to pay right now, but I know it's coming. That's the debt prevention. That means when you walk into the mechanic shop and he gives you the side eye and he's like, this is going to be a bad one, you have the money already there. And he'll be a little flummoxed by your behavior, because he'll say, well, that's going to cost $1,400. And you're going to go, man, I can think of other ways I'd rather spend $1,400. And he's just, you like, I know, right? And then he looks at you like you're going to pull out that Amex or that whatever, right? And you're going to just be like, all right, let's do it. And he'll be kind of surprised because you'll be like nonchalant about it. You're not nonchalant. You just had the money set aside for the eventual car repair. And instead of grabbing that Amex or whatever and putting it on a card and going into debt, you have prevented the debt. And that is financial progress. That is being good with money. It's one thing to build up savings. It's another thing to not see your debt just increase through normal everyday life, and car tires wearing out, and transmissions going out, and drips happening where they shouldn't, and beeps happening where you can't even find where they're coming from. That's all just life. The dog suddenly limping. That's life, right? And if we want to stop the debt from happening, we have to flip everything around that we've been doing. Where we have a bill waiting for money, that is debt. That is literally the definition of debt. You just have to have money waiting for the bill. That's the crux of it. You do this where you anticipate large, less frequent expenses, and you set aside a little money for them every month. That will get you good with money. That will prevent debt. Then you've prevented the debt. And then you just look at your old behavior, and that's a little pile of debt, or big. And you say, okay, I'm preventing future debt, but also let's start attacking the old stuff. You start paying that down. Maybe start building up a little bit of, a little bit of momentum as you pay like that high interest rate debt first, or the small debt, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever one you want to do. Just, you're making progress. Now, you'd say, Jesse, what about savings? I just want to build savings. Those funds that you're building up for those larger, less frequent anticipated expenses, that is savings. They're just savings named to do certain things. I'm telling you, people, you do this, you will not only not go into further debt, but you will have crazy clarity on what you still can spend. And when you do spend, you'll spend joyfully, happily, without guilt, because you'll know that the drips are covered, the limps are covered, the beeps are covered, provided you find it. And you're paying down your debt, and you're going out to eat, and it feels all totally fine, and you were able to treat your mom, right? All of that's happening simultaneously. That is being good at money. Preventing debt, paying down debt, spending money joyfully. You are good at money when you are doing that. So you give every dollar a job, and those jobs are for the things I just outlined. Throw in a couple things for you for sure, because money is meant to be spent. Heaven help us if it isn't. You do this and you will never worry about money again.